Hi, and welcome to Encroachment, the podcast from Kickball 365. I'm your host, Admin, and tonight I'm with Tim McNugget, live from Las Vegas. How you doing, Tim?
Good. How you doing this evening?
I'm good. It's good to be back on the podcast. For those of you watching, tonight's episode is strictly about the Music City Kickball Open. This is the second year we're going to host this event. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. It's going to be a gorgeous 85 on Saturday and a gorgeous 86 on Sunday. Chance of rain, but we should be good. Brick's going to be there, and I'll be there, so you know it's going to rain. Hopefully not. But tonight's podcast will focus on pool play draw for both the Coed event. We'll walk you through how that's going to be done. We'll do the live pools right now, post it live on the site, and then we'll walk you through the women's event on Sunday. We have no random draw. We actually went with a snake, and Tim will walk you through how that is done, how the rankings were handled, and what the women's pools will look like. At any point, if you have questions or want to leave feedback or don't know where the schedule is, always remember scoreboard365.com. We also have unique short bit.ly links that get you directly to the schedule. We will have the schedules posted live for everyone to look at tomorrow afternoon. We apologize for the delay. Not only did we have a holiday weekend, but we also had a team threaten to pull out last second for Coed. And we didn't want to release pools prior to that being resolved. It was resolved this morning. We're now late live, 10:58 on a Wednesday evening, but we appreciate your patience. Tim, what do you think? Should we get to it?
Yeah, let's do this. I know everyone's excited, including myself.
Very cool. So we're going to go through, and we're going to pull each bin. For those of you who are at home tracking what exactly are the bins and the pools, if you go to bit.ly, bit.ly/MCKO, Music City Kickball Open 2015 scores. We'll post it on Twitter. We have already. We'll post it on Facebook. You can track what this pools are going to look like. The way this works, it's a bin draw, just like we've done in the past. With 19 teams, which the last time we had that was Virginia Beach Kickball Open last year. We put teams into 3 bins focused on rankings and location just to kind of balance it out. And then we put them into 4 pools. We have a pool A with 6 teams, pool B with 5, and then pool C and D have 4. So if you're wondering, well, how does that play out? Pool A, everyone in that pool will play one another, but 1 will not play 6, 2 will not play 5, and 3 and 4 will not play one another. For pool B, all teams play each other because there's 5 teams in that pool. For C and D, you'll play everybody in your pool, and then you'll play the opposing team. So the way we have it now is we have Panic Attack, due to their ranking, will be the first slot of Pool C, and they would play the first slot of Pool D, which is Dice. So Panic would play Dice in the event. Bin 1 of Pool C will play Bin 1 of Pool D, etc. So that being said, Bin 1, we've got the Big D, Most Wanted, Gorilla Juice Heads, and Zero Fox Given. Tim, you want to kind of recap some of these teams, and we'll do the draw.
Yeah, so we'll just do this real quick. So I don't want to play any team in that bin. Juice Heads, they're always great. I think they're going to have new uniforms, so that's a plus for them. But even then, those guys can beat anybody. Most Wanted, had the pleasure of playing with some of those guys out in San Diego, and after playing with them, I don't ever want to play against them now. The Big D, they didn't have the best showing in Denver, but they did have a great showing in Austin. So who knows what they're going to do. And then Zero Fox Given, that's one of the availables teams that I kind of spearheaded to help put together. Got some really solid players, solid key pieces. I know they'll be traveling thin, but they're ranked up there for a reason. And I think they're going to do some damage. So anybody who gets any of these teams is going to be a tough bin.
Very cool. Now, do you think Most Wanted, as I throw these bins into the pot, do you think Most Wanted is going to have a rough start like they did at DCKO, going 1-1-2 in pool play, but then shocking the world by beating Panic, and then only losing to Sitch 2-1 in the Elite 8 in DC this year?
Could very well be. They seem to get better every tournament, so it's anybody's guess who's going to show up. But if they come out swinging at 9 a.m., I don't expect them to slow down until later in the day. Hopefully they learn their lesson and they have some depth.
All right, so here we go. Pool A, Bin 1, we've got the Big D. So Pool A, Bin 1 goes to Big D. We'll update it shortly on the site. Pool B, Bin 1, 0 Fox given. And then the 2 remaining, we've got Gorilla Juice Heads going into Pool C and leaving us with Most Wanted. Over to D. What do you think, Tim?
So far, I like the way it shakes out. Interesting matchups. I don't think any of these are repeat matchups. So I like it.
Very
Awesome.
Cool. I will update this right now. Everyone who's watching live, we will try not to bore you with typing on computers. We'll get to that lately. All right, Bin 2. You've got 300. You've got, they went 1-3 in DCKO. They had a rough outing. You've got the Renegades, number 46 team in the country. A Jacksonville team had a strong showing at Jacksonville, but then lost to Flying B big. You've got the Randy Savages, an amazing availables teams with probably the best jersey on the circuit. Players from California, DC, Virginia, Louisiana, Nevada, Georgia. And then you got Soul Glow, a team from Georgia, captained by Mr. Eastwood himself. So, Tim and I on Savages. This will be interesting. All right.
Let the conspiracy begin.
Yeah. Bin 2, Pool A is Soul Glue. Where'd my pen go? That's Pool A. So now you got V, Hammerheads, Adrenaline, the Big D, and Soul Glow. You've got Renegades in Pool B. All right. I was hopeful we get C or D, but we'll see. There we go. You've got 300 in Pool C, leaving. Randy Savages get to face off against Dice and Most Wanted. Ooh.
That should be a fun one. I think the only thing that's rough here is Soul Glow drawing Pool A. But other than that, it's more interesting matchups, Kind of interested to see what 300 can do against a Juicehead team and a Light Panic team. They always seem to show up and, they hang in there, but this could be a time where I could see them doing a little bit of damage in pool play. And they also get to face off against us and the Randy Savages, the crossover game.
Best jersey on the circuit, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's wrap this up. You've got Pool A, which will have one team, Pool B, Pool C, and D as well. In Bin 3, you've got SoCal Legion, an availables team captained by Golditch. There's a few folks from Georgia, Nevada, California, and some other folks. You know much about that team?
A little bit. I kind of helped put a few of them together. There's a couple Vegas guys coming out for that. I don't know a lot of the key. I know about a third of the team, and then the other 2/3, it's just a question mark. So could be hit or miss, but we'll see.
You've got Afternoon Delight Kickball Club, ranked 68th in the country. You've got Revolution, which we've considered an availables teams because majority of the players are brand new. They're running very thin. Thank you for staying involved and associated with this event. And then you've got the Underdogs, a new open team from Louisiana. They went to Georgia this year. They went 2-2, but then they ultimately met Flying V on their tear in the first round of the Elims, losing 11-1. I don't know why I'm throwing this away. All right.
If you pick Afternoon Delight, I'm calling Mulligan.
No.
That would be the Pool of Atlanta.
No, we get Revolution.
Awesome.
So the Afternoon Delight team, Georgia team, right?
Yeah.
That would have sucked. Underdogs in Pool B. I got 2 left. they're stuck to the edge of the SoCal, leaving us with Afternoon Delight going in Pool D. All right, Tim, what are your initial thoughts here?
Aside from 3 Georgia teams in Pool A, I like it. Seems to be well balanced. I know because I was privy to see what this looked like as a snake draw, and this is one reason we picked bin draw. There were quite a few regional matchups. It looks like basically aside from Pool A, there's only one other close matchup in Pool B that's even remotely close to regional. So overall, I like it. I think you're going to see a lot of interesting matchups, ones that we haven't seen before, so that'll be good. Hopefully we can get some of those recorded and later edited, get on YouTube. I know people like seeing new matchups, so I don't even know who to pick from here, to be honest. What are your thoughts?
I'm looking through it and also trying to update this as well so folks at home can kind of get the latest and greatest when it's posted. I think Pool D, so let's just take the Savages right now. Our schedule is going to be Dice, Most Wanted, Afternoon Delight, and then 300. Most Wanted is a beast right now. They're playing really good kickball minus pool play. With 19 teams, we are taking 12. So you got to keep in mind anyone who's playing really well, not to their typical ranking, might have a long bye. Now, we'll do everything within our power to ensure that the pool play is played effectively in those 5 hours, 4 games within 5 hours because everyone will have a bye. But then you'll have a short break, and then we'll have a play-in game to get to the final 8 teams for the event. So Pool D is going to be tough. I don't think you're going to see more than 2 or 3 teams get out of there. Afternoon Delight's not a bad team by any means. The number 2 team is Climax. So, BBB's good. It's close to home. Hopefully they bring their solid squad. Zero Vox given, again, a tough team. So Pool B right now, that's going to be tough as well.
Yeah.
Trying to digest this on the fly.
The nice thing here is with a pool like Pool B, you have a solid availables team or 2 solid availables teams, really good at 3 really good established up and coming teams. So it's like, I don't know. I don't even know what to think. I like that pool a lot, actually.
Yeah, I'm trying to populate everything in front of me so I can see it. But yeah, I don't know. With 12 teams advancing, I don't see anyone really, at risk to not make that. I mean, you got to bring your A game. These events are not, events to show up and play a light pool play round and then, advance and then do your damage there. You got to be ready to go start at 9 a.m. or if you've got that first bye, you got to be ready to go by 10. It'll be fun.
Yeah. So let's jump to everyone's favorite topic, my least favorite. But what do you think for Final Four predictions?
My Final Four, assuming that folks play their game and Climax doesn't run into any trouble, I don't think V will have any trouble in A. I think Hammerheads and Adrenaline, 2 teams that are ranked 4th and 7th in the rankings for the event, obviously they'll probably lose to V, so they'll get on the bottom half of a bracket. Hopefully they don't trip up again and have to do a play-in. But right now, of the 4, I definitely have Flying V. I definitely have Climax. I'd love to say the Savages, but I'll be honest, Most Wanted is probably playing really good kickball right now. They've had a lot of events in the last couple months, and their players are not just playing with Most Wanted. They're going to other circuit events, so they're learning the game. I've got Most Wanted, and then I've got what are my 4th one? Dice. Sorry, guys, I don't have you going in, but I'm trying to figure out who that 4th team would be. Maybe Hammerheads does make it if they get lucky with the play-in. So there's my 4. V, Hammerheads, Climax, and Most Wanted.
Yeah, it's hard to put V and Climax out unless they do like last year and meet each other earlier than expected. But so definitely got those 2 going. I'm going to go with Sleeper Head. even though Panic Attack's coming in light, they have the key pieces that are utility. And I've seen them win tournaments before with only 14 people, 13 people. They've done it. So
and
I'm gonna throw them in there just because I think with the way their pool shakes out, they could go 3-1, 0 or 4-0 pretty easily, and have that nice little bye cushion that they would desperately need with a thin roster. So that'll be my third pick, and then the fourth one is a toss between Hammerheads and BBB. I want to pick Hammerheads, but to be honest, they're without a couple people who played with them at every tournament since inception.
Really?
So we'll see how they adjust without that. So if I have to give the nod, I might just go BBB, just because I think they're coming from a tougher overall pool. They have a pretty good size roster, and getting tested in pool play is going to keep that momentum going for a Limbs. So I'll go with V, Climax, BBB, and Panic.
Teams that will likely not make the cut, even with 12 teams advancing. I'm looking at Dice. You got one?
Oh, man. Dice, they always make it out. I can't go with them.
Schedule.
I hate to say this because I said something completely different earlier, but some of those bottom two tier teams in like Pool C and D, like looking at like 300 Legion, could even be Soul Glow. Revolution's coming extremely thin. I would have to definitely put them on my list. But yeah, these are very interesting pools, so I'm happy for them, and we'll see who doesn't make it.
Yeah. So again, if you're watching, we will be updating the schedule at Scoreboard 365. We'll update the link tonight so you can actually get to the schedule on the site. Pre-seedings are done, rankings are done. The availables teams were thrilled, even the new open teams like Underdogs, to come back for their second event of the year, and they've already committed to the Cup. So we're really thrilled to see that. With 19 teams. Things are just always really difficult. So we appreciate everyone's patience and just trying to make sure that, we get this right. Again, with the threat of a team dropping out last second, it was a concern that was resolved. And then for the first time ever on the circuit, we've got 12 teams advancing. So it's something we took feedback from everyone. We appreciate everyone's thoughts. We have lights. And the fields are pretty good. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much this week. We'll make sure they get cut again, and we'll be good to go. So that'll be a Coed event.
Just want to add on the 12-team thing. That's something that we were all going to discuss in the offseason. But with a 19-team tournament, we just said, well, the offseason's in one more event anyways. Let's discuss it now. Because previously with 19 teams, no lights, kind of have to advance 8. That extra round is just too much. So this may be something that we're going to try going forward, but this is going to be our test for this weekend. So,
and
look forward to it.
If you're watching this show and you're going, well, I've got ideas. I would like to submit my thoughts on ways that the company can think about. Let me pull it up on here. Think about other things they should be trying. I want to just point your attention to what we call the knowledge base. So if you go to Kickball 365 right now, there is a wonderful, nice link that at the very top that says support. So right now, if you log into the site, you'll see this nice little button that says support. Click it. It'll take you to this wonderful page. That is what we always have referred to internally as the knowledge base, but this is where you can submit customer feedback and support. Go here, post an idea, get the community to give feedback. Obviously, we still want you to stay involved on the unofficial Facebook group or emailing us, talking to Tim, talking to us at the events. But submit your ideas. Try to get the community to back you on a couple of things. We look at every possible avenue for folks to submit feedback, and just if you don't speak up, we won't consider it. So please post something, email us, call us, whatever, and we'll make sure it's part of the consideration for next year's schedule and anything else. That said, you excited, Tim?
Yeah, this was one of my favorite events last year, so looking forward to coming back. Hopefully it's not as humid. I might not die.
It was so hot last year, and this year if you're not from the South and you're not from a college that really is obsessed with the sport of college football, you're in for a treat. Georgia plays Vanderbilt this weekend in Nashville. It's the second week of the college football season. Downtown is going to be ecstatic. Just there's going to be a lot of folks really excited to be there for college football. The downtown scene is going to be epic. So if you're traveling into the town Friday, make sure you realize that your hotel is probably going to be swarmed with Georgia fans, maybe some out-of-town alumni for Vandy. Get there early. The commute is out of the city, out of downtown to the fields on Saturday morning. Coming back into the city might be a little interesting. But great social venues booked, and we're just really looking forward to it. And then on Sunday, again at 9 a.m. start, not the typical 10 a.m., but a 9 a.m. start on Sunday, we have 18 phenomenal women's teams. Of those 18 teams, 15 of them actually we could rank because we've seen them before. There are a couple teams that were there, only I'll take bombshells, or maybe not bombshells, but a couple of the teams only had 50% of their team that had been there before. So they're still considered teams, but we might have ranked them as availables and mergers. Tim will address that in a second. But Siri is yelling at me right now. Thanks, Siri. Glad you're here. So I want everyone to just, actually, Tim, why don't you talk to the point as far as doing snake for the women's event, and I'll pull up the pools while you're discussing it.
Yeah, for women's events, when we usually do 3 pool play games and everybody advances, we either try to do traditional snake, or what we do is we put all the teams in bins by region. It got to be extremely complicated with 18 teams and all the different bins, and just with looking at it as a straight snake, everything kind of passed the eye test. I know some people might say, well, this pool looks harder than another pool. Someone may perceive team A to be way better than team C, but these are the way the rankings shake out, and it's all by results. And so when you look at it objectively like that, snake produced a fairly balanced pools, and we only had to draw the 3 teams at the bottom to complete it. And we did that. So we have 3 pools of 6, and John is going to build the schedule for us. The nice thing is I don't know exactly who plays who per se yet. We just know that if, for example, in Pool A, if there are 2 Missouri teams, they will not be playing each other in pool play.
Well, actually, let me make this easier so everyone watching can see this live.
There you go.
So here we go. Here are your pools for the women's event. Pool A, You've got Mile High Club, High Beams, Killer Instinct, Hussy Riot, Most Wanted, and Queens. And just to clarify, I had said 15 teams were ranked. The 16th, 17th, and 18th team were, after a random draw, was the Midwest Kickers at 16, the Empire at 17, and Queens at 18. That being said, Tim, you can walk us through Pool A and who will play who.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly yet. I just know who won't play who.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I know Most Wanted and Queens won't play each other. I defer all the scheduling to John. So he's doing all that. He's building it. So just like now we finished the Coed one, he's going to finalize the women's one for tomorrow morning.
So in Pool A, Queens from Missouri will not play the Most Wanted ladies.
Correct.
And then in Pool B, we've got 3 teams from Georgia. Correct.
And
so, go ahead.
And I believe he has them all not playing each other, but I have to double check.
Yeah. And then Pool C, we have 3 Florida teams, but what we considered were Bombshells and Cut a Pitch are essentially local teams that have seen each other, and they would not be facing one another.
Correct. And then Lip Service is also from Florida, but a completely separate part. So we figured they're safe there for now.
Correct. So just like the Coed event, each team will have a minimum games played for the day of 4. That's been a standard. Let me get me back on. That's been a standard circuit event staple that if you go to a circuit event, you're going to get 4 games in. So on the women's side, starting at 9 a.m., again, an hour earlier than normal, each women's team will play 3 games within a 4-hour slot, so all the women's teams will get buys. And then all teams will advance, and we'll have a play-in round for those teams to get to the elims. Just like with the co-ed side, we'll play all of pool play. We'll have a brief 30-minute or 30-minute break. Obviously, we want to make sure that the refs are good, the captains are good, and that we can complete the audit in time to ensure standings are correct. And then we'll advance to the elimination round and finish, hopefully on time. We ask all captains and players to remember that we try to be as efficient as possible. So once you've completed your game, captains, please make sure you know where you're going and proceed so we can get games started as quickly as possible. Tim, you good? You're on mute. There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Got a fun dog barking in the background.
So that's it. Right now, again, Scoreboard 365 will have the co-ed schedule shortly after this podcast has ended. At the same time, you're going to see the women's schedule posted. Once it's created, we'll release on Twitter and Facebook the short URL. And if you have any questions, again, go to kickball365.com. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll see the link to the Music City Kickball Open, and you'll get all the details for the social events and everything. We'll also send out a mass email to all the players attending so they have the addresses and everything as well later this week.
One more thing, though. We got to do our favorite game, Final Four game.
Final Four for the women.
This one's hard.
Let me I'll make it easier for us because I just put it away and I forget what's going on. Women is always difficult. The scoring that I saw in San Diego and even what we saw here in the DC event, some of these women's events will have crazy high scoring and other times defense will just shine and folks can't kick the ball. But right now, Final Four teams advancing again. Pool play is regardless, all teams would be advancing. Mile High Club, solid team. Can't go wrong there. Most Wanted, ladies, solid team. Can't go wrong there. Remix is showing up with some sick new jerseys. Despite Most Wanted's ranking and where they're at, I've got Mile High, Remix, Hustle, and Most Wanted.
Damn. All right. Well, I'll go completely different.
All right.
I'll go Mile High, but then the other three I got High Beams, Bombshells, Killer Instinct. I don't know. I just feel like High Beams seems like they're due.
They're due.
And then Bombshells, they just keep doing nothing but finishing in second place, so I got to go with them.
Yeah.
Killer Instinct was really, really good in Jacksonville, so I'm kind of excited to see them again.
Yeah.
And, yep, that's my Final Four.
Yeah, Bombshells looking between VA Hustle and Bombshells. I'd like to see VA Hustle pull through. They've got a solid team, and they've got quite a bit of folks going as well. So, yeah. So, last minute, just as awareness for everybody watching, again, player feedback is critical. We're going to be sending out what we've done in the years past, a player survey. When that comes out, we just, again, encourage everybody to answer the questions. It helps us choose where the next Circuit Cup championship will be, where the next Women's Cup championship will be. If they're together, if you think we should separate them out, we're looking for your feedback. We'll have more to share at a later date. But again, if you're watching and you're still watching, please look out for that. We greatly appreciate it. You have a chance to win a gift card to Kickball 365 and kickballstuff.com. So looking forward to any feedback we get from you all. Tim, you good?
I'm good.
All right. Well, again,
I got nothing else to add.
Well, I look forward to seeing you this weekend in the best circuit jersey ever, El Guapo. You can suck it. And everyone else who's watching, thanks again for your time, your patience. And if you're going this weekend, looking forward to it. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you in Nashville.